Hi, happy Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. I tied my hair up like Ray's. You won't really see it in the video. All right, let's get into some mental health. How do you like that segue? So last video, I gave you the tools that I found to be foundational for helping me to heal from depression. 3 simple but powerful things that I practice every day. If you missed it, I really do recommend watching that first, just because kind of the whole point is that I wasn't even able to get to any of this next stuff until I first had that foundation. So just understand that with the foundation, I was then able to move on to these next things. Please don't feel like you have to do all of this stuff at once. This is just my path that I'm sharing with you, and all of it was done very slowly, like in tiny increments. Okay, so the next thing I focused on was my life's meaning. I'm not getting religious on you here, and I'm not saying that you have to create like a full-fledged vision of your life's meaning. It's just that if you have depression, you likely have a low self-image. You think you don't matter, but I promise you, you matter in more ways than you know. There is something in this world that lights you up, that means more to you than anything. All I'm saying is take some time to think about it. And it's okay if it's something small. For me, the answer was just 3 small cats. But it got me thinking about more, about what can my life mean? And I think that was important because it got me thinking about a purpose, which is something that depression steals from you. The next thing I started doing every day, and this might turn some people off, was movement. Full transparency, I really hate working out. It is so boring and it's hard. Like, I don't understand why anybody does it. But you know deep down that exercise is good for your mental health. Like, you know that. So how did someone with a burning hatred for exercise begin incorporating it into her life? The key was I started with gentle movement, because I learned that slow, purposeful movements, especially when done in sync with your breathing, are calming to the nervous system. I do 10 minutes every day of Tai Chi or yoga, even Pilates if it's not too strenuous. I do my gentle movements even on good days. And it's been essential for calming the nervous system on the bad days. Honestly, I was like, I'm never going to work up to actual workouts. But I kid you not, as my mental health improved, I started incorporating small workouts and even short walks into my days. I couldn't believe that I was actually doing that. I was like, this isn't me. This is not how I am at all. Doctors tell you to exercise because it's good for your mental health. Like, yeah. No shit. It wasn't until I had that solid foundation of awareness and acceptance that I even had the ability to move my body in that way. The next thing I started doing was art. I didn't do this intentionally. I just bought some canvases and paints because I thought it'd be fun. I was not expecting to find that there was an incredible relief that came from painting. I hadn't done physical art in forever. I make comics, but I do it on my iPad. The physicality of the brush in my hand, the feeling of the paint gliding on the canvas, there was something just so therapeutic about it. And while it's not a tool that I would argue is essential for everyday use, it definitely has a soothing effect. This next tool is one that I would recommend using daily. I started a practice of gratitude. Similar to the art and painting, I think the physicality of holding a real pen, the feeling of writing on paper, holding the notebook in your hands are all more effective than typing on your computer or your phone. Every day, I write 5 gratitude statements. Each one begins with the words, I am grateful. And I write about things that I got to do or things I'm grateful to have. When the day was bad, sometimes the statements get silly, like, I'm grateful I got to eat berries. Sometimes they're existential, like, I'm so grateful I have eyeballs. It takes me like 30 to 60 seconds to do this every day. And after just 1 week, I started noticing changes in my brain. What I noticed was that gratitude was changing the way that I viewed the world. Things that used to bother me stopped being a big deal. Sometimes even flipped into a positive. I always heard that gratitude works, but every time I tried it, I wasn't consistent. Once I started doing it every day, that's when it started working. Very simple, very powerful. At this point in my journey, I was starting to get some serious relief from the pain of depression. Bad moments, bad days, they still happen. But with all these developments, I was able to move on to this next tool. And that was reframing negative thoughts. Now, I don't do full-on CBT because I've never found it particularly helpful. I'm actually going to do a video on that in the future. Reframing means that you take your negative thoughts and find ways to change them into positive ones. It's helpful for a depressed mind, but it never really worked for me in the past. I realized that reframing probably never worked because I was trying to reframe without first accepting the messages from my mind and body. The funny thing about your nervous system is that if you don't listen to its message, it just gets louder. So I decided I was only going to attempt to reframe once I had used awareness and acceptance to hear the message. Then I'd move to something calming, like gentle movement. And then only once I was calm, then I would start working on reframing my negative thoughts, analyzing them to figure out what's true and what's not. And I do this with regular old pen and paper, which you can also use to tackle the next thing too. The more you do this, the more natural it becomes. I actually get triggered a lot less now because my mind just preemptively reframes. It's like, don't worry, I got this. The next thing I did was to work on discovering what was blocking me. When I started becoming aware of thoughts and digging into them, I noticed patterns and the same things coming up again and again. And what really surprised me was that it seemed like there were only 2 or 3 main core issues. And then from those stemmed the huge buffet of negative thoughts and feelings. That was eye-opening, but it was also weightlifting because it was like, oh, I actually don't have a million issues like I thought I did. I have like maybe 3 issues, which made things much less bleak. And these blocks are likely going to be internal, but one of mine actually was external. So it's not just something in your mind that could be blocking you. It could be something in your environment. At this point, I was noticing real shifts down to my core. Suddenly, I became more able to do the things that the medical professionals tell you to do when you're depressed, like going outside, eating a healthy diet, practicing good sleep hygiene, and connecting with people. Yeah, those things help heal depression, but I wasn't able to do any of it until all that other stuff came first. When I started focusing on the root causes and building the foundation, only then did everything on the surface start to fall into place. That's where I think professionals fail, because yeah, those things are good for depression, but what if the person is so depressed that they don't have the ability to exercise regularly or eat properly? We're going to get to 3 special tools in just a moment, but before I do, I need to tell you that bad moments and bad days, they still happen. You just get a lot stronger in dealing with them. I still feel the old pathways in my mind, but I have new pathways now that I can take instead. Sometimes I still fail, but a byproduct of this work was that I cultivated compassion for myself so that now when failures happen, they don't affect my progress. They actually enrich it. Okay, now for my last 3 special tools. Learn the biology of your nervous system. You don't have to become a PhD or anything, but it is so useful to take some time to learn about the nervous system and your brain. It helped me to see that I wasn't broken at all and that my body is actually doing exactly what it was designed to do. Knowledge took some of the pressure off and can help you have clarity in times of pain. The next one is boundaries, and this one deserves its own video. Many videos. So we won't dive into it here, but if there is resentment hidden somewhere in your depression, you are going to benefit wildly from boundaries. What am I saying? Everyone can benefit wildly from boundaries. They're amazing. And last is trust. Trust in yourself and trust in the process. You are capable of more than you give yourself credit for. What I just outlined in this video is a long-term path because quick fixes haven't worked for me. And I'm guessing they haven't worked for you either. Build the foundation. Do it slowly. Be consistent. We need you in this world. And you deserve more than to just survive every single day. Not next Sunday, but the Sunday after, the video is going to be on something very important that I need to tell you. Because as real change started to happen for me, I started to encounter new difficulties that I wasn't prepared for, which makes sense when you start leaving behind old patterns. Even though they were unhealthy, they were what you've become used to. So when you start creating something new, it can come with new challenges. As always, if you're still here, thank you so much. I hope that you can begin to find some relief from whatever pain you're experiencing and move towards a life that you actually want to live. You deserve that. Star Wars Day. Did you see all my cute little Star Wars toys? I think they're from McDonald's, but I honestly can't remember. I've had them for so long that look, like General Grievous is all yellow. He's supposed to be like this, like a cream, but he's like yellowy. This one is cool because it's Han Solo and Carbonite, but he's here. He belongs in here. There we go. And then this one, see this Darth Vader one, you can put Anakin inside. But he's all purdy. See, purdy Anakin. See? Now you are bad. I'm really sad that I don't have Luke and I don't have R2-D2, the greatest character in all of Star Wars besides BB-8. Yeah, I love BB-8. He's so cute. I know that the new movies get a lot of hate, but no hate for BB-8. And then I also have these, which I don't know what to do with them, honestly. But yeah, so I have these like Star Wars M&M wrappers. I have no idea what to do with them. Like, I guess I could sell them, but when I looked them up, they were not really like worth it. So I have Luke Skywalker. If you're bored, I'm sorry, but for Star Wars people, you're welcome. This one is Han Solo. This one has bad Anakin. It's very clearly bad. Mace Windu. Oh, this is good Anakin. Oh, Padme. Last one is Obi-Wan. Ewan McGregor Obi-Wan. Not actual Obi-Wan. So, yeah, I have no idea what to do with those. If you want them, like, email me or comment. If you're still here, thank you so much for hanging around. I was super excited to find that my video schedule just so happened to fall on May the 4th. I was like, oh my god, it's a sign. I need to share my Star Wars toys. So I did. If you're seriously still here even now, thank you so much. Like, you are my people. I'm totally serious. Thank you. Yeah, I wouldn't be doing this if it weren't for you. So I really appreciate your support.